Behold the face of Derp.
Hello, welcome to my channel. It's KTRT time again. Yes, I've got a couple of KTRT bots to show you. First of which I will get on with now. Now, if you go back through my channel, back to July the 22nd, I posted up a review number 80, where I reviewed this guy. This is a Biklonz Aero, and it's made up of Aries, the ram, and Leo, the lion. So I got this because I quite like the look of it, and I've been watching the show, big fan of the show, and decided I'd get this. But more recently, I've been watching the show some more, and I've come to the decision that I want to get all the Biklonz. I want to get all the Biklonz and make the combiners. Now there's two. I mean, this is an intermediate combiner. It's made up out of two beasts, top and bottom. One becomes the trousers, the other becomes the shirt. Kind of like an Energon Powerlings combiner, I suppose you could say. But obviously there's another one of these, which I've got here, which is what I'm reviewing today. Now, these particular toys are from the first two series of the show, Season 1 and Season 2. And we're going right back to the beginning of the show with these ones, because the two beasts, the two Biklonz I'm going to show you today, are Taurus and Scorpio. Now, before we get into that, let's look at this guy. Now, this is Geo. Now, he is the main protagonist of the series. He's a young, hot-headed kid. In episode 1, he meets this old lady in a bit of waste ground, and she's been attacked by a giant robot, and she gives him, you know, the activator on his wrist. He then transforms into a Biklonz. His bike becomes the action bike, and then he summons the Biklon. And basically, they have these little cards that go into the activator. They trace out a pattern on it, and then it activates an ability, and then this whirlwind, this cyclone appears out of nowhere, and then there's these lightning bolts, and then there's these stars that connect up, and then Taurus appears. Now this is the Biklonz of Taurus, and you know, basically, as they're swirling around in the wind, the cockpit opens up, and Geo drops into it. Now it's quite tricky to get in there. They do have a little bit of articulation, these guys. They've got arms that move, and the legs are connected together, but they move as well, kind of like a headmaster. They've got rather large heads. And then, it's a bit tricky to get it in on this one. You sort of slide it in, then you shut it, and then you got Taurus. Now Taurus obviously is a bull, and this is a big red robotic bull. And in the show, very, very cool character, very cool, very mean looking, goes charging around, has all sorts of different attacks that they can do. Before I get into the toys some more, obviously they came in a box like this, which has got all the art on it. And you get a bunch of the activator cards, because you can buy like a toy of the activator which does lights and sounds. So you get a bunch of the activator cards, which, because if you look on the back, they show, you know, the pattern that you have to you know, trace out with your finger. And that's that. And then we've got Taurus. Now it's a big, quite heavy, chunky toy made out of that nice, shiny, durable, kind of scratch resistant plastic that they do. Articulation hasn't got a lot. Obviously the legs move backwards and forwards, but that's about it. They're on ratchets. And there's not really much more you can say about it. They're sort of spring-loaded, but that's for transformation, and doesn't do much more than that. So there we have basically Taurus. Now it does transform into the pants for the dual combiner, and to do so, you start pulling things apart. So you unclip this bit, and then you lift that up, and you take the head, squeeze the things together, and then you fold it inside like that. You then turn the waist to the back, put that out of the way, and then you start on the legs. Now on the legs you have a little yellow clip, push it in, and then you can collapse the legs, all 4 legs. Then you open these bits out, pull out the toes, and you straighten the legs, and then you fold them in like so. Straighten the legs, fold them in, straighten the legs, fold them in. And there's these little kneecap bits that you fold up, and then straighten the legs, turn them forwards, and there we have the pants mode ready for the upper torso. So that's Taurus. That's all you can do with it. It does have lights and sounds, but they don't activate really until you put the 2 parts together. So we'll put this to one side for a moment. And then we move on to the next character. Now, Scorpio, who is piloted by Pio. Now, out of the Biklonz siblings, because they live in they're a family unit that live in a house, but they're all brothers and sisters. There's the older brother, the older sister, and then there's the middle brother, who is Geo, and then the younger brother, who is Pio. There's Pio. Now again, he also got the same amount of articulation as the other guy. They don't have, the heads don't turn. It's just the arms and legs move. They're decently painted, and like I said, you do get some spare ones in the pack which are unpainted, so you can paint them in whatever colour you want. And he pilots Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, I didn't want to get this guy. I could quite happily have got the other parts of the combiner, but Scorpio I have a problem with, and it's to do with the face. As you saw at the beginning of my video, he's got the face of derp. He's got the derpiest looking face I've ever seen on a robot. It's ridiculous. It looks so stupid. And to be honest, this is supposed to be a scorpion, and right. Now, does that look like a scorpion to you? Yes, he's got claws at the front. He's got a face, and these things are supposed to be legs. And then you've got the tail with the stinger in effect. Now, Scorpio is a lot slower and more deliberate than the other Biklonz in the show. It's commanded by Pio. The one thing that Pio does compared to the other Biklonauts is he at one point when he gets given an instruction manual, and he diligently sits there and reads it, whereas the others don't bother. They just find out the powers that their Biklonz have got for themselves. Yeah, I have a kind of a problem with the look of this thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the colours are really nice. You know, the black and the yellow and the grey and the silver, or a bit of red, but it's got a face only a mother could love. It really does look. I mean, you can turn it upside down as part of the transformation, but it doesn't look much better. Articulation, you can sort of move the claws in and out they do have these little wheels. There's like a wheel there and a wheel there, and there's another wheel underneath. So it can theoretically go on a flat surface and roll along, but the wheels are so small they don't really work that well. So waste of time having them. I mean, most of these joints are for the robot mode, but you can make use of them in the thingy mode. You've got a joint there, you've got a joint there, but the legs don't actually do much for the side of the Scorpion mode. And now he does have a cockpit, so you open it up there, and then you put PO inside and shut it down, and then there's PO in Scorpio. It's Scorpio. I mean, it's I had to get it to do the combiner, so not by choice did I buy this thing. It's not the best looking character in the show. Anyway, moving on. This the transforms into the torso. So what you do, obviously you straighten that out. You get this bit, bring it round, and you gets out a fist. Now the claws, spin them round. You've got these bits inside, which you then spin around to form the fist. Straighten the arm out and then clip it together. Bring them round. Then you get these pieces here. Now this one you kind of fold it up double like that, and then the back one, I think you put it up like that. Then you bring the head up and move it forwards, and there we have torso mode. So you got the top, we need the bottom. So you get the thing, and then there's these little clips underneath, and you clip it on, and it makes a noise. And then you take this piece, you fold it in, and there's two little springy clips on the back which clip in to there, and there you have it. And there we have Hurricane in robot mode, and this is what you buy this for. Looks incredible, lovely use of colours, very, very chunky, limited articulation, but very heavy, chunky, hefty bot. And put it next to Aero, and there you have the two, like the small combiners. Now these guys do have interchangeable parts, and when you interchange, let's say, the top and the bottom, swap them over, you get two separate beasts, two separate combiners. So obviously this is Hurricane and that is Aero. So you take that off there, right? And you take this off here, and then you take the top of one and put it onto the other. You get a different sound. I just gotta just attach that there. And now this is called Ghost. So it's Scorpio on top and Aries underneath. So this is another combination. This is called Ghost. And again, looks pretty good combination, because you've got the white, pink and black feet, and then you've got the black, orange and red. But it because of this grey that they've got on it and the silver, it really works, and it looks a little bit more uniformed colour pattern on Ghost. So then we'll make the other one. You get the legs, get the top. Again, you get another sound. And then you clip the backpack in. And then you're left with Eclipse. So you get a different mech again. You get Eclipse. So whereas before we had Hurricane and Aero, we now have Eclipse and Ghost. Now they do have the sound effects, and they do change when you swap them over. Light speed. Biklonz Eclipse. Okay, and this one. Biklonz Ghost. So you get about 4 or 5 different sound effects. Let's get them back to their original configuration quickly. Right, let's go through the articulation very quickly. The head does turn, no up and down, just side to side. Got ratcheted shoulders that go all the way round. The arm does move in and out so much. Does have a bicep swivel that's got quite a stiff ratchet on it. Now, it's also got like an elbow joint, but because of the design, they're like gorilla arms. And it's kind of a double jointed elbow, kind of. They're weird the way the joints work. It's because of the way the legs and the pincers on the Scorpio were worked in. On this side, again, slightly different. You've got the same round and round, up and down. And you've got the bicep swivel. And you've got a crunching elbow. And that is that. They do have a waist joint of a sort, but because the backpack all locks into the back of the torso, you can't really use it. The legs are the biggest disappointment. Now they go out to the side, up and down, and you do have a thigh swivel, but there is absolutely no forwards and backwards. You do kind of have a bit of a knee joint going there, but it's only got like one slight click, so it's barely 45 degrees. Yeah, they have a lot of bulk and chunk on these things, which limits their motion because of the engineering of the trouser bots. You can't really do a lot. They're very clever the way they work, very, very clever, but no, they're big chunky toys, well made, got license, well, got sounds, and fun to play with, but again, like so many other Korean toys, a bit hampered in the old articulation department. Now, this guy and this guy do a bit more than just turn into robots like this. They do form a bigger combiner called Infinity, which is a 5-bot combiner. And the final part of this set is Ursa, who I've got right here, and he's going to be the subject of my next review. So that's been me, TFR Wilderness, doing a review on Biklonz Hurricane. It's a decent bot. If you're into the watching the show, it's definitely worth getting. But for now, that's been me. I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.